we are finding that city rules regarding shelter in place and lockdowns are different than county rules. We cross multiple cities and counties in our business, and I cannot locate a reliable source to view rules that seem to be changing daily. We want to make sure we are abiding by county and city rules and are having a hard time doing so since there is not one place we can go to get this constantly changing info. Any recommendations on how to stay updated via reliable sources?
Yeah, I think that's the fog of war. So we're definitely all in that same situation. I don't know who that question is from, but when that question's asked, I was visualizing Cincinnati, Ohio, and Covington, Kentucky, and then the Kentucky counties in Indiana. And there's like 3 states that converge right there. And each of the counties seem to have their own conditions and rules in that area. You have to have your own license and so forth for all those different various areas. So it's very complicated. I don't have a good answer for that, to be honest with you. I think you need to do what you're doing, which is check in every day, look at the government websites. I think you're probably going to have a difficult time reaching anybody in a government facility at this point. If you are successful with that, you probably should be on this call next time and give us the recipe for how that happened. But we're essentially, our human resources person in our company is in charge of that function. So we probably have a few more bodies than the average company. So we've assigned somebody that responsibility. And we're not having any more luck than what that question is about, which is the rules are changing. And because they're changing, we don't necessarily have good clarity. Our position that we're taking is we're going to do the work and we'll beg for forgiveness after the fact. That we feel like at this point that given the circumstances, there's really not a lot anybody, I mean, if that's the worst thing that's happening in the world, I think we're probably okay. Now, other company owners may not want to accept that risk, and I 100% get that. But I think when we're looking at our community and what we're doing, to solve problems, especially people that have plumbing problems or situations, when it gets to be about 115 degrees in the desert in another month or two, things are going to get real. And so health problems occur in a lot of different ways. I can't accept the idea that we wouldn't necessarily just do the work and then figure it out. So that's not a great answer. I know it's not a great answer, but I think what you have to do is just decide, are you going to push forward and do the work and then beg for forgiveness later? I think any good legal counsel would have a field day with that whole process. I just don't think that you would lose that battle.
I would just comment on what Gary said. Here in Colorado, we don't have the multi-jurisdictional issues with counties because we just got one big county here in Colorado Springs. But we did get some information from the state that outlined the designated heating and air conditioning companies as, essential services. So we just printed copies of all that letter and put it in everybody's truck so they have it if they get pulled over for some reason, if they have interaction with anybody, get questioned, whether it's law enforcement or just a homeowner, right? Wanting to know what we're doing out in the neighborhoods, to share that information with them. And I think, like you said, there's no way to know absolutely what the changes are in jurisdictions. But if you're following, there are some general guidelines, right? The social distancing and no more than 10 people. If you're practicing kind of all the common sense stuff that everybody out there is talking about, as Gary mentioned, you're probably going to be okay. But it's a personal decision, the liability for sure, the risk. But we're kind of following the state guidelines, and I think if you're doing that, you're probably not going to get harassed too much, and just follow the standard guidelines everybody else is using.